Savannah Paschal and her husband, Trent Paschal, got into an intense fight on the morning of October 21st, 2020, as reported by their neighbor, since it was rare for the couple to argue. Shortly afterward, Trent left in his pickup truck and Savannah quickly followed, moving on to the neighbor's house before turning around and going back to the house. Later, at midday, Savannah drove home, this time with her mother, unaware that she was heading towards her own doom. Savannah Paschal, the daughter of Michael Kinchin and Shirley Kinchin, was born in Pasadena, Texas in 1990. Savannah had always been gifted. As a child, she enjoyed horseback riding, dancing, and ice skating. She was also an excellent gymnast. Her interest in horseback riding inspired her to love animals, which made her want to be a veterinarian. Savannah worked as a volunteer at a vet clinic after graduating from high school, but later had a change of heart and decided to pursue a career in cooking because she couldn't stand seeing animals in pain and on their way to death. Only a short time after beginning her new career, she realized that life had other plans for her. She discovered that she was pregnant. She was just 19 years old when she became a single mother. Unfortunately, her relationship with her child's father didn't work out. She was a wonderful mother to William, her son, and after a few years, she decided being a funeral director was her new professional ambition. Savannah quickly developed a strong rapport with the grieving because she had the correct demeanor, a thoughtful touch, and a natural sense of tact. She also had no trouble dealing with the dead. Savannah's life appeared to be turning around. She met Trent Paschal, a 40-year-old man, while Savannah was just 22 years old. Trent ran his own successful construction company. Despite their 18-year age gap, Savannah believed that Trent was the perfect match for her since he had extra life experience, confidence, and a reassuring knowledge. Trent fell in love with the girl. He gave Savannah a sense of affection and appreciation unlike anybody else ever did. Nevertheless, they did run into some problems. Savannah found Trent's rage and jealousy to be quite unsettling. He would occasionally adopt a haunting demeanor and exert dominance. Despite all this, Savannah decided to marry Trent, and so they tied the knot. After a year of blissful marriage, they welcomed their daughter, Mackenzie. The truth was quite harsh despite how sweet and endearing Savannah and Trent portrayed their relationship online. Soon after they started dating, Trent limited Savannah's social circle, accused her of being a horrible mother when she was out with friends, and on top of all that, he started managing her finances. Trent kept every penny that Savannah worked so hard to earn at their house since, in his opinion, banks were not reliable. He provided Savannah with a monthly allowance from her own earned money. Trent felt insecure despite having complete control over everything. He worried that one day his wife might leave him in favor of a younger guy. When Savannah was out and about, Trent texted her, asking her for proof of her location, forbade her from wearing makeup, and accused her of dressing to stand out. If Savannah ever spoke to another man, Trent accused her of flirting. Due to all this, as was expected, the couple began to argue more frequently. However, because of Trent's extreme temper, Savannah occasionally fled the scene until he cooled down. After that, he would send her flowers and loving letters to make it all up to her. Savannah used to contact her mom when the two argued. Savannah's parents urged her to break up with him, but she said she couldn't. However, once the pandemic struck, Trent's multi-million-dollar business quickly lost money and things worsened. Since his income was now below what his wife's employer was paying her, he became irate. Trent became increasingly enraged as a result of losing his position, and his obsession with controlling Savannah only grew. Savannah wanted to break things up with Trent while all of this was happening. Savannah contacted her parents to inform them about the divorce. They recommended she leave the house when he was out rather than face him directly. Savannah wished to wrap up the situation peacefully, though, and give Trent the respect of a face-to-face conversation. Then, on the morning of October 21st, Savannah told Trent she no longer wanted to live with him, but their conversation quickly became a shouting match. Trent eventually left the house behind Savannah, who went directly to her mother's. Soon afterward, Trent came up with an idea, went home, and made a video for his daughter accusing her mother of cheating on him. Later on, he shared that video on social media. Savannah and her mother arrived in the driveway as this video was being made. When Trent saw them, he immediately stopped and hurried into the shower cubicle to wait for them. As Shirley and Savannah entered the house, Shirley excused herself to use the bathroom. However, as soon as she shut the door, Trent appeared in front of her, brandishing a shotgun, saying in a chilling voice, "I'm going to kill both you and Savannah," and pulled the trigger. Fortunately, he missed Shirley, who quickly fled the room and ran out to the front yard. She continued running until she reached the yard of the neighbor's house, while also hearing gunshots echo throughout the streets. While the neighbors dialed 911, Trent emerged from the front door, his phone glued to his ear, alerting Savannah's aunt of her murder. He then drove off in his white Chevrolet truck. Shirley went inside and was horrified to see her daughter lying in her own blood with bullet wounds to the abdomen. Savannah was immediately taken to the hospital, where she was found to have died. After 45 minutes, Trent was halted by the Houston police and taken into custody while surrounded by officers. As was his habit, he wasn't prepared to face anybody when he got out of the car and immediately drew a gun on the cops. They told him to drop the weapon, but he wouldn't, so they shot him in the leg, arm, and torso. Before being arrested and handcuffed, he was sent to the hospital. He spent 6 weeks in the hospital in a serious but stable condition before being adequately returned to health. After leaving the hospital, he was arrested at the Harris County Jail and charged with the felonious murder of his wife. Due to the fact that Trent was charged with felonious murder instead of capital murder, his family was able to free him on a $450,000 bail. Following his release on bail, Trent started living a free life. He did have several restrictions that he had to go by, including the need to wear an ankle monitor at all times, refrain from leaving his county, and spend the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at his mother's house. However, Trent quickly broke his agreement's restrictions and skipped court appearances. He then broke the deal by breaking the law on the road, as he was found driving with a different license plate on his car and several extra plates in the back seat. He still remained free despite everything, and even started sharing photos of his weekend travels on social media. This was the 4th infraction that eventually prompted the court officer to cancel his bond, but it was too late at that time. On April 13th, 2021, a small Houston car dealership called the police to report that a car had been taken at night point. The salesman was riding in a car with the man as they went for a test drive. When they arrived at the gas station, the man pulled out his knife and told the salesman to get out of the car. He then sped away, taking the SUV with him. The dealership could not identify the man since they failed to get a copy of his identification before allowing him to test drive. Still, they were fortunate to have recorded the person on the CCTV and placed those photographs online. Several individuals who saw the pictures confirmed that the individual was Trent, who had been featured prominently on the news channels about the murder of his wife. After he skipped another court date, the cops proceeded to his house, but they had no idea what they were heading into. The startling reality was then made apparent when they found a partially deactivated ankle monitor on the ground that had not yet been attached to a human. They discovered that Trent and the stolen SUV had fled. After a 9-month investigation, the authorities learned that Trent was residing in an RV park in Florida. On December 31st, 2021, while Trent was living in a stolen RV, the authorities were able to locate him at the park. As they encircled the vehicle, they heard a single gunshot and found that Trent Paschal had shot himself, without even giving Savannah's parents an opportunity to question him about their daughter's murder. Trent's suicide negated any hopes of justice being done. Shirley Kinchin expressed her sorrow over her daughter's murder in a heartfelt statement following the incident. She wanted to see her son-in-law confronted and punished for his actions. She wishes to change bond laws for the benefit of her daughter and all other victims.